Alrighty, and we are live. Give me just a moment. Let me make sure that is in fact the case over here on YouTube and Rumble. And yes, we are live on YouTube. How about Rumble? Oh, give me just a second. Let's see what we got here. And yeah, we are live on Rumble. Outstanding. Thank you everyone for joining me yet again for once again delving into Thomas Sowell's Basic Economics. We'll be getting into Chapter 6, the role of profits and losses. And there is a reason that this needs to be noted. Free markets, capitalism, call it what you will, it's not simply about profits, it is also about losses. And I think that is why Thomas Sowell made a specific chapter in this book specifically to address this point. So without further ados and addendums, let's get into this. Chapter 6, the role of profits and losses. Quote, Rockefeller got rich selling oil. He found cheaper ways to get oil from the ground to the gas pump. Unquote. John Stossel. I'm sure at least some of you probably recognize that name. To those who run businesses, profits are obviously desirable and losses deplorable. But economics is not business administration. From the standpoint of the economy as a whole, and from the standpoint of the central concern of economics, the allocation of scarce resources which have alternative uses, profits and losses play equally important roles in maintaining and advancing the standards of living of the population as a whole. Part of the efficiency of a price-coordinated economy comes from the fact that goods can simply, quote, follow the money, unquote, without the producers really knowing just why people are buying one thing here and something else there, and yet another thing during a different season. However, it is necessary for those who run businesses to keep track not only of the money coming in from the customers, it is equally necessary to keep track of how much money is going out to those who supply raw materials, labor, electricity, and other inputs. Keeping careful track of these numerous flows of money in and out can make the difference between profit and loss. Therefore, electricity, machines, or cement cannot be used in the same careless way that caused far more of such inputs to be used per unit of output in the Soviet economy than in the German or Japanese economy. From the standpoint of the economy as a whole and the well-being of the consuming public, the threat of losses is just as important as the prospect of profits. When one business enterprise in a market economy finds ways to lower its costs, competing enterprises have no choice but to scramble to try to do the same. After the general merchandising chain Walmart began selling groceries in 1988, it moved up over the years to become the nation's largest grocery seller by the early 21st century. Its lower costs benefited not only its customers, but those of other grocers as well. As the Wall Street Journal reported, quote, when two Walmart supercenters and a rival regional grocery opened near a Kroger company supermarket in Houston last year, the Kroger's sales dropped 10%. Store manager Ben Bustos, Bustos, I might be mispronouncing that, moved quickly to slash some prices and cut labor costs, for example, by buying ready-made cakes instead of baking them in-house and ordering pre-cut salad bar items from suppliers. His employees used to stack displays by hand. Now, fruit and vegetables arrive stacked and gleaming for display. Such moves have helped Mr. Again, I'm probably butchering this name, Bustos? I'm really not sure how that's pronounced. Cut worker hours by 30% to 40%, from when the store opened 4 years ago and lower the prices of staples such as cereal, bread, milk, eggs, and disposable diapers. Earlier this year, sales at the Kroger finally edged up over the year before. End of quote. In short, the economy operated more efficiently to the benefit of the consumers, not only because of Walmart's ability to cut its own costs and thereby lower prices, but also because this forced Kroger to find ways to do the same. This is a microcosm of what happens throughout a free market economy. Quote, when Walmart begins selling groceries in a community, a study showed, the average price of groceries in that community falls by 6 to 12%. End of quote. Similar competition by low-cost sellers in other industries tends to produce similar results in those industries. It is no accident that people in such economies tend to have higher standards of living. Profits. Profits may be the most misconceived subject in economics. Socialists have long regarded profits as simply overcharge, as Fabian socialist George Bernard Shaw called it, or a surplus value, as Karl Marx himself called it. Quote, never talk to me about profit, unquote, India's first prime minister. I am totally going to get this wrong. Jawaharlal Nehru? Jawahharlal space Nehru. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but StreamYard seems to be having some technical issues. So give me a moment, and I will try to get this back up and going. Such is the nature of streams.